I'm Keith Bolsen, Professor Emeritus at Kansas State University, and had the privilege of coming up to Mead, Nebraska today to speak at the Silage for Beef Cattle Conference that's put on by Lallemand Animal Nutrition and University of Nebraska-Lincoln and Iowa State University. I spent 32 years at Kansas State University working primarily with feedlots and doing research, but got involved in silage in the mid-1970s and continued that on for my entire career until I retired in '03. And I've spent the last 13 years working in the silage industry in the U.S. And we focus primarily on silage management issues that the producer has control over. And we also focus on safety. And today at the conference, I summarized three very important points that we feel producers can take advantage of in their silage program to reduce what we call shrink loss. In other words, tons ensiled versus tons fed, or acres harvested versus acres fed. And as an industry last year in the U.S., we put up about 165 million tons of total silage. Of course, that was dominated by corn silage. Our shrink loss as an industry on our silage is probably in the 16 to 18% range. We think through implementing higher densities, more effective sealing, and more effective feed out or delivery, we can cut that shrink loss by 5 to 7 percentage points on most beef cattle operations. And for density, I encourage producers to use spreadsheet software that allows them to put in their tons delivery rate per hour to the bunker pile, tractor numbers, tractor weight, and it will predict the density ahead of time. So if they need extra density, if the spreadsheet's only predicting, let's say, 13 pounds of dry matter per cubic foot, our target is 16, then they can add additional tractor weight. On effective sealing, it's something as an industry, particularly in our beef cattle sector, that we haven't done a very good job of. I think most beef cattle operations could do a more effective job of sealing. We have still way too many bunkers and piles that are not sealed at all, and it's contributing to very high feed inventory losses, and it's affecting cattle performance. We have new oxygen barrier film technology that allows us to reduce the losses in that outer original 3 feet to as low as 12 to 14% of the material ensiled. As far as delivery, depending on time of year, the textbook probably got it wrong when it talked about theoretical removal rates, and we like to see in summertime a 12 to 18 of removal rate. We want to minimize the time that silage is exposed to oxygen from the time it's removed until the cattle clean up the ration in the bunk. We finished on silage safety today. Safety is a huge issue with larger bunkers and piles that we see today. Avalanches are a problem. We've produced a silage safety video that's a real life situation that occurred 2.5 years ago where a young silage haulback driver was killed in an avalanche. And this video is available from Lallemand Animal Nutrition or by contacting my wife Ruthie or I. The video is free of charge. It's 17 minutes long, and we focus on safety reminders that every beef operation can implement today and save a life, and at the same time have a more efficient silage program. And so that was basically the summary of what we talked about at the conference today. And it was a privilege to be back in Nebraska. I completed my PhD here in 1971, and it's always good to be back in Nebraska.